Hello there, everybody. This is Alex from Hardcoin Guides, bringing you my guide for Deadpool on Ultra Violence difficulty. Today we're doing Chapter 6 entitled Death, Baby. Starting off, we're going to be having a shootout section. You can't really move that fast, but this part's not too hard. Most of the enemies just tend to kind of just miss, mostly anyway. And on top of that, explosive barrels are shooting out of this barrel keg spawner thingy. And you can just use those to blow up the enemies if they get too crowded and get too close. Out of all the chapters, I would say this one's probably my least favorite. I know I had one earlier that I said was pretty close to being that. Or maybe I did say it was probably my least favorite, but I take that back. This is definitely one of the ones that I would consider as my least favorite. So, right here, all you gotta do is just keep mashing X, and then a joke goes on. And I just end up skipping all that because it takes a little while to go through it. So, just want to get to the action. Want to show you guys what I do and how I do it, I guess. So, yeah, in this room, once again, just shooting up enemies. Just shoot the bad guys. Pretty easy stuff. If you come back over here, you could jump on this wall climbing section. There's two ways to get to this area. Probably not this specific one. It's mainly just that. Okay, no, there's two ways. Okay, yeah, never mind. I'm wrong. I come back around later, but there's two ways to get to this upper floor of chests. And the first way is by doing the wall jumps on that area that's colored green, which is, very helpful. And I wish more games would incorporate stuff like that. I'm glad that Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal did start incorporating, mechanics like that. It truly is a lifesaver. I just noticed there's a chest up there. I don't remember if I got that one or not. I don't know. But later on, you do get a chance to climb up, and you can walk on some rafters and get up there that way, but I just went the old-fashioned way. But I'll end up showing you the other way anyway. Oh, sorry about that. My chair sucks. Okay, yeah, it's broken. Big time. And then my friend broke it even more. And he thought I didn't notice, but no, I did. I saw it. I saw exactly what happened. So, can't try to, get away with that one. Try to be a sneaky little bitch. That's not how that works. Yeah, I know. For somebody who just ends up buying, like, a lot of these fucking games and stuff, I still don't buy a new chair. Well, most of the reason why I don't really buy new chair is mainly because I just don't have the forethought of doing it, first of all, and second of all, the knowledge of knowing what size of a chair I need, because I have a very specific spot that I like being at on this chair. I like how low down it goes, and it feels really nice. And it's perfectly in line with my desk, so realistically, it's, a nice spot to sit at, to be fair. But yeah, I showed you guys I got that last chest. That was another way to get up there. Now, when it comes to the skeletons section, I don't remember if you're supposed to shoot them or not. I cut it out anyway, just in the off chance that maybe they're not important. You probably don't take damage from them. I don't think you do. If you happen to take damage from them, then, well, just shoot them. It's nothing too complicated. They're not too hard anyway that I noticed. I don't remember ever taking damage, but there you go. So coming into this area, though, we're going to be fighting two elementalists alongside fighting just regular mooks with, magic guys and gun dudes like always. And my suggestion for stuff like this, for these arena fights, because there's going to be 3 of them, is to essentially let Cable do at least a good portion of the work. I think you still get the Deadpool points regardless if you kill them yourself or not. So whether or not Cable gets the last hit, I don't think it really matters. Even if you don't get points for it, then, like, it's not a big deal. You could just theoretically just grind out the game anyway, so it's not that troublesome. In terms of the order of what you pick, it doesn't really matter. I just think I go from left to right to middle or something. I don't remember what I did. It doesn't really matter what the order is as long as you just pick whatever you want. But do keep in mind that, different doors will lead to different segments. And if I'm not mistaken, this one I think might be the carnival area. Yep. So we're just going to skip all that crap because I do wait in line, for those that are curious. I did wait in line the entire time because I remember that being a trophy, so I was going for that. After that, you're going to head to minecart. You don't have to shoot anybody down, but now you got to do this just a Regis section that I just do not like. I don't mind, you know, shooter sections or turret sections or what have you, but I just find this particular part to be very annoying. Mainly because you take damage during it, and it just feels like there's not really a good way to avoid most of that. I mean, yeah, shoot the things before they shoot you. I understand that concept, but it just feels like it goes on forever. And yeah, if you happen to shoot the girls, or even, I think, Death herself, whenever she pops up, you end up taking damage from it. So that's something to kind of be wary of. But for the most part, it's a pretty basic, run-of-the-mill idea of what you're supposed to do. You just shoot the bad guys. You just shoot these things. You collect different versions of whatever passive you might end up getting with it. You go for points. It's all relatively self-explanatory for the most part. It is just a bit distracting with how much crap is on screen at once, because they really, truly just throw out everything at you as much as they possibly can. And I find that just kind of a little bit annoying, considering the fact that, you know, I don't know, it just gets in the way. Granted, I don't remember if there was anything to do with that besides high score. I think at the very least, you probably got to get like a high score in every single thing, and you're pretty much just fine. I mean, for the most part, all you got to do is just survive the, you know, whatever minute-long thing you have to deal with. So, nothing too bad. But yeah, so Death will eventually sometimes appear, and then when she does, she sometimes gives you, or at least, I would say all the time, I think she gives you like some passives. Just look for the glowing green neon sign, take that hit, and go for it. I'd recommend getting whatever passive it might be, and they don't last very long either. These are temporary upgrades for, you know, just however long you need them for, basically. There's some that give you, you know, big giant balls. There's some that give you fast automatic shots. There's some that give you, what is it? They randomize the objects, which I don't think really does much at all, to be fair. What the hell? Oh, well. There's a strange non-edited sequence of events. I thought I didn't die at all in this section. But there you go. We got to see a death. Okay, so you guys get to see me play this game for real. Yeah, so basically the Sentinel section is just shooting the big Sentinels. Shoot all the Sentinels in the face. It's not too hard, but like I said, it's just here. It's a thing you can do. I mean, you pretty much have to do it. You don't really have a choice. I'm all for turret sections, but I feel like this one just goes on for too long. It just... I don't really get much out of it anymore, so... I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. But I guess if anything, if I have nothing to say about it, I could probably talk about what happened today, I guess. Not the bad side of things, but just more so like the good side of things. Basically, Armored Core came out today. Armored Core 6. And I'm going to sound like a loser when I say this, and I know, but I've never actually played Armored Core before. I've heard of it, but I never did play it, and I never really went out of my way to play them. They never really interested me that much at the time. But then I played 6, and everything just clicks, and it's really well done. It's really well made, and I enjoy the living shit out of it. I got past... Well, I'm now in Chapter 3. There's like 5 chapters. Each chapter contains multiple missions. I'm not going to tell you guys... I'm not going to spoil everything in a random Deadpool video, but... Basically... That's kind of how it works. Like, there's a lot of missions you do per chapter or whatever, and what have you. And I've beaten quite a few bosses. I'm right now stuck fighting another big boss, and it's a pain in the ass. But I did actually upload a video about beating the first boss, if anybody's curious. I was thinking about doing a boss rush video, but nah. Maybe, I don't know. It's one of those things, like, I'll probably just leave that on the cutting room floor for right now. I did even consider, like, oh, what if I do, like, a guide of it, too? Because, you know, I actually figured out a lot of neat ways on how to beat enemies and such, and how to beat bosses and what have you. I kind of just figured all that stuff on my own. I kind of felt clever, and, like, my IQ was huge, and I wanted to do that, but we'll see. I don't think I'm going to be able to probably beat Armored Core before I get done with Deadpool, at the very least. I don't think that's probably going to happen. So I wouldn't expect a guide, you know, right now. But that's, you know, the funny thing is, too, like, that's kind of essentially a problem, though, as well, is if I don't do a guide now, then eventually, you know, somebody else is going to do it. Somebody else has probably already done it, and that's just YouTube in a nutshell. Like, you're always going to have creators just already getting into that spotlight before you even have a chance. And I think because of the way that YouTube also works, well, nowadays they're starting to kind of give smaller creators a little bit more of an algorithm push, I've noticed. And I appreciate that, but I don't really feel like I'm getting much out of it. Especially on my main channel now, because my main channel has been getting hit with, I would assume, because I got that warning on one of my videos, that it wasn't a strike, but it was a warning. But I feel like that's a contributor of the fact that I'm not getting anywhere anymore. Not that I should just stop doing it in general, because that would just be kind of silly of me to do it. And also, you know, with Hardcorean being, you know, my channel we're on right now, this one's pretty much fine for the most part. I don't think I've ever said anything really too bad, but I get the feeling that there's going to come a point in time in the future when all of a sudden Hardcorean's going to get taken down for some stupid shit reason. I'm not trying to, you know, to put it in the air, to put it in the universe or anything, but I feel like it's going to happen. Yeah, it's just one of those things, like, well, it might not, I don't know, but I'm scared it will, that's what I'll say. So, next area, basically just the same thing as always. Chop through guys, easy enough. You're going to have this attack buff guy that shows up. I think this is the first time they show up in these chapters at all. Well, he did show up in that last Horde mode section. However, I don't think they showed up in any other earlier chapters or not. I don't think so. If you got momentum, especially the L1 triangle one by now, then that's, you know, really, really good to have going for you. And if they get too hard, go for L1X, stun them, and go for the execution move. If you've upgraded your swords to get that. Or at the very least, you know, go for the L1 circle to kind of get a lot of decent damage going and get your health kind of built back up, I guess you could say. So next up is a 20-second, really incredibly stupidly long section of just things being thrown at you with grenades and explosives. I assume if you die here, you probably gotta fight the entire horde of enemies again. Not horde, but the wave of enemies again. But this part's not too difficult, just a little bit annoying. Only in the fact that, like, you know, you pretty much gotta dodge, like, constantly. Alright, so looks like we have defense guy, attack guy. I never even really noticed that when I did this, because I already went through both of them just like it was nothing. Like they were hotcakes. They didn't really matter at all in the grand scheme of anything. So, well, that's what they get, to be fair. But yeah, so Armored Core is great. I recommend it. Really fun game. I like FromSoft games, and that extends past Dark Souls for those that are curious, so don't try to think that, like, I don't, like, give a shit about Dark Souls. That's not true. I haven't played much outside of it, but I have had interest in other things, like Kingsfield, but never got to play that either. I've played Eternal Ring, if that's anything to go by. So, eat my dick. Which is funny, because, like, that's, like, the only game outside of Souls. Besides Armored Core at this point. I don't know. But I feel like FromSoft definitely deserves a lot of the praise they get, because they do happen to make a lot of really good mechanics work really well. No matter what the game is, I feel. And I respect that. Unless it's Dark Souls 2, then it's just kind of weird. But I think that game was made by different people anyway, so yeah. Now, speaking of which, here's some heresy, but I don't really like Dark Souls 3. I've never even beaten it. I've never even beaten Elden Ring either, and strangely enough, that's kind of the same concept with Dark Souls 3. It's just there's parts of it I just do not like, and it's mostly just the constant reusing of bosses and stuff, and I just find that irritating. But I think Elden Ring as a whole is pretty cool. I just suck, so there's that. I've only ever beaten Demon Souls. I haven't beaten the remake yet, but I've beaten, the original one. I beat Dark Souls 1, 2. I beat Bloodborne, of course. I beat Sekiro. I'm trying to think of what else. I don't know. I mean, because, like, we didn't really get much after Sekiro. Like, the only thing we got after Sekiro, I think, was Elden Ring. I don't think we got much in terms of any other stuff. Because, like, Dark Souls only has, like, the 3 games besides the remasters. Bloodborne exists. And Bloodborne's Bloodborne, so it doesn't have any, like, sequels or anything like that. What else? Yeah, Elden Ring's just the one game. Armored Core is its own series. Like, much like Kingsfield and Eternal Ring and all them. They're kind of their own things. But anyway, back to the action. Now we're going to fight these guys. Once again, teleporting douchebags. And now we have a new enemy. I'm going to call them Fujins because I don't know their exact name. But they basically represent, tornado-style stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Fujin is the name of, like, a Japanese wind god or something, I think. Because I'm pretty sure Raijin is the lightning god name. Or lightning demigod. I don't remember what it was. I've played too much SMT, and then also Mortal Kombat has, I think, Fujin, or whatever his name is, so... I know Jin means person, I know that. I'm just not too aware on the Fu part. Also, sorry if my commentary is kind of low. It's been a long day. It's almost 9 o'clock at night right now. And I'm getting that kind of feeling of maybe I should go out and buy my brother a copy of, if I can find one at Walmart, find him a copy of Armored Core so he can play it, because we tried going to GameStop, but it wasn't there. I got mine at GameStop earlier this morning, but he had to work, and they just didn't have any copies of the PS4 version for him, so he got fucked on that one. And now I'm starting to kind of feel bad and be like, maybe I should just go buy him a copy if I can find one at Walmart. I don't know. I just feel douchey, I guess. It's whatever. It happens. That's how my brain works, man. That's just how it works. Yeah, other than that, trying to think here. I don't know what the future is going to hold, but I do know that for a while I do want to do other stuff outside of YouTube for a bit. For like the next, I'd say from September to November, the end of November, I plan on hopefully doing some art stuff. I want to try to do like a draw every day thing and do like a 3-month period of drawing every day. Just so I can get some practice in, force myself to get some goddamn consistency and just learn how to fucking do shit, because I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I need to do this, It's what I want to do. And I can't get my dumbass to stop playing video games all the time. It's too easy to get stuck into a video game, you know what I mean? I'm sure everybody probably knows what I'm talking about, because, like, it's a difficult thing to get out of. That obsessive nature of just being like, well, this game comes out today, I gotta go get a copy today. Especially if you're at work. Oh, it's terrible when you're at work or you're at school or whatever. I remember being like back in school, waiting for Bioshock 2, get out of school and go play it, because I pre-ordered it. I was so goddamn excited. And same concept with Call of Duty. I'm so glad that a lot of the midnight releases kind of ended up falling on a Friday. So at the very least, I could essentially, for the most part, be able to go to a midnight release. It didn't happen all the time, but, there was a couple times I went to a midnight release for things. I think I went to one for Pokemon once. I think it was X and Y. And I've only ever beaten that game twice, to be fair. So, I don't know if I like it much, or if I don't, or if I do, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I do actually want to play the new one, but I haven't got my hands on it, and I just don't necessarily probably feel like doing it. Alright, so this next section is a little bit annoying, more so than hard. So when you're outside of the light, you're going to be taking a lot of damage. However, it's not going to instantly kill you, so don't worry about it. There is a total of, I think, 11 chests that you can collect here. And it doesn't matter exactly what order you collect them in. Technically, it sort of kind of does. If you want to stay within the light of Death herself, then there is potentially a specific order of things to do. She kind of moves on her own pattern. I don't think there's a way for us to specifically change her course. I don't think that can happen. I think she just most likely just does her own shenanigans, and we're kind of just stuck with dealing with whatever we're stuck with dealing with. I think for this section, she is kind of nice and just lets you fight this enemy. And it's just the one enemy, nothing too hard. But yeah, just stay within the actual light itself. Don't go past the dark, like, don't go past the light. If you go a little far in and you start taking damage, then just double back. Unless you're like me and you know where the chests are and you're just running straight toward them. You don't need to get all the chests. If you want the achievement, because I think there was one for it, then you pretty much got to get all of them. But other than that, yeah. This is also her stopping point, so you can make a quick jump to get this one. You have just enough time and just enough health, but make sure you double jump and go fast to get that one too. But then after that's done, I stay over here because there was a section for some reason that I went forward, and then all of a sudden I still died, even though I was in here, and I don't know why. And I think it's just because she wasn't fully in place at the time, so I waited for my health to fully recharge before I went in and tried doing this crap. So another section that I'm not too particularly fond of, especially if you're trying to do like a no damage run, you're going to get damaged anyway, which I think is just silly. However, to be fair, I don't know if you probably could avoid it, maybe. That's possible. So now we're going to do some Crash Bandicoot Spike platform stuff, and then we have a really shitty boss fight that I just do not really like too much. And sorry for the pessimism, it's just, it's been a long day, and plus, I don't like this level. I was not looking forward to doing this chapter at all. And then now we have a new enemy archetype. Once again, they're just skellies. Nothing too hard. They go down in a few hits. They're not that bad, really. To be fair, this section is fun to kind of platform through. I don't mind the 2D sections. For those that, you know, have watched my Splatterhouse, you probably definitely know for a fact that, like, yeah, I like my 2D platformers a lot of the time, so it's not like this is completely out of the way, I guess, for me. It's just... Sorry. It's just mostly the boss fight that I don't like about it. I was yawning there. I'm tired, man. I'm worn out, worn to shit. But yet, for some reason, for some dumbass reason, I still want to record, you know, another episode. Because I have, like, 2 videos after this left, and then I think the last 2 chapters should be extremely short, if not shorter than this one. I'm pretty sure chapter 7 is, like, extremely short. And then chapter 8 is short-ish, but still kind of long. So next up is going to be the tanker boss fight, or whatever it's called. And all you really got to do is just knock back the kegs that he blasts at you, the barrels. You just have to get to the left side of them so that way it gets knocked back into them. The first 2 are basically free. You can attack them, but it's just easier just to run into them and not, you know, mess with them too much. If you mess one up, that's fine. Then just let it go. Then he shoots off barrels, and that spawns skeletons, and they basically infinitely spawn. So just try your best to stay like in the middle of this area, so that way the barrels don't arch too far ahead of you, and you can kind of like, you know, change course whenever they're coming down. Just keep your eyes on the barrels. It's a lot harder than it seems. Like, it looks like it's a relatively easy boss fight, which it, for the most part, is easy. It's just, it's also easy to die in that section too. But that's why I say just stay in the middle of it. That way you can kind of keep an eye on the barrels. That way they don't go, you know, too far overhead, and you don't have enough time to make it to the far left, or they're too far to the right. You know what I mean? So stay in the middle. when enemies spawn, just do the triangle move to kind of just go through groups, and that should be it. Next horde is easy. Just skeletons, they die in a few hits. And elementalists kind of spawn, but Cable's handling most of them. Cable's doing what Cable does, and he's just doing things. He's helping out, which, to be fair, actually makes these fights a lot easier. Because he's a nice little distraction for a little while. It doesn't, you know, stay fully, though, unfortunately, but, and I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. And then I guess they're dead, because there was a second elementalist, but I guess he's gone now, so... I don't know.
Who are you talking to, Wade? Hurry up, Wade. Time is ticking. Not that I can't just...
Holy crap. Bamoli. Alright, so the last section is probably one of the more fun sections, but also kind of sort of the worst section out of the three that we pretty much kind of have to do, and I say it's kind of both because there are aspects of it I do enjoy, like the puzzle solving aspect. I think it's kind of fun, but I don't enjoy the cameo section. I think that's just stupid for ultra violence mode wise. And not to sound like an ungrateful douche, but you'll see what I'm talking about when I get there, and I'll explain why I don't like it. And by cameo, I don't mean like it's an actual, you know, celebrity cameo or anything like that. It's actually just a contest winner that got put in the game. Much like, I think Arkham, I think Arkham Asylum did this. No. I think one of the Arkham games did that, right? Where they had a contest winner that shows up. I think it might have been Asylum. Whoa. Whoa. Pardon me, I don't know where that came from, but holy crap. Just started choking on myself out of nowhere all of a sudden. So anyway. Oh yeah, there's also a secret chest down here somewhere. I think it's over here. Or back there. I don't remember where. It's somewhere. Unless I just grabbed it. I think I just grabbed it and I just missed it because I was coughing my lungs out like an idiot. So, yeah, it's down here. There it is. You can see the green and it leads you right to it. So, not too hard to spot. But... anyway, yeah, I think it was Batman Arkham Asylum that had one, and I know Kingdom Hearts 1 had it too, with Kurt Ziza. Which I think Kingdom Hearts 1 did a fantastic job of having a contest winner, because it was mostly just the guy's name, and they made the creature themselves. I don't know if the contest winner designed the character or not, I don't remember. But I think they handled that one better than this particular contest winner section. I mean, to be fair, as a joke, I can understand it, I get it. It's just that when you're playing this game on ultra violence mode, and it creates more problems than it really should, is kind of the idea that I'm getting at. It's just out of left field, pointless, and annoying. More so than, you know, haha, funny, look at that. What it is, what it is. So, yeah, with these guys, momentum, just, you know, pure prejudice. Just go in there and just wipe them down completely. I hope I'm using that word correctly sometimes, because I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm getting worried about YouTube shenanigans and thinking like they're probably thinking I'm something that I'm not, and I'm just using the word to describe, like, just go in with full hate. You know, just... maybe it is no prejudice. I don't know. I don't remember how the saying goes. Just kind of messing it up, I guess. Also, hopefully, the next chapter should be a little bit more engaged, I would assume, because the next chapter is a little bit easier to kind of digest than this one. This one's just full of like a bunch of different stuff, and to be fair, if you do like this chapter, that's fine. I don't mind playing the chapter. It's more so that I get tired of, you know, the commentary side of it, because I don't know, it takes a while to go through and has a lot of just silly sections that are more fun to play than they really are to just kind of watch. like the turret section itself, so... Oh yeah, there we go. Now I have the ability to finally teleport at least, I think, up to 5 times in a row. Which is going to be very nifty to have. That extra 2 can genuinely save your life. The upgrades in this game are surprisingly really helpful for some strange reason. I don't know. The devs did a pretty damn good job at the game, to be fair. And even if some of the jokes are kind of a bit old, I still find some of them kind of charming and funny. And I genuinely wouldn't mind having like a sequel to this game or something of the sort. But I feel like with games nowadays that have like a licensed named character in it, typically you're probably going to get like the one, unless it's a licensed movie game. Then you'll probably get like a ton of them. Because like, you know, look at X-Men Origins Wolverine. You know, that's a licensed title. You know, Deadpool's not a licensed game or licensed movie game, you know, so... And there's the Avengers game, but it's not based on the Avengers. There's Lego Avengers, but it's more so Lego, so they do it all the time. It's just Lego in general. I mean, we are getting a new Wolverine game, which is going to be singular on Wolverine, which is cool. I mean, well, I don't know if he's going to be the only character, you know what I mean. We've also had X-Men. We had plenty of X-Men games before, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I feel like Deadpool kind of deserves a little bit more. I was about to say, like, you know, I wonder if Guardians of the Galaxy is ever going to get a name, and I totally forgot that it had a game. Okay, so this part here, simple stuff. Just pick shit that you think would work. What beats Armageddon? A cockroach. You know, what beats a human? You know, an elephant or something. What beats fire? It'd be water. You know, stuff like that. Things that would make sense, even if you get it wrong. I don't think you get really penalized for it. So, that one's pretty easy. There's no order to this. Just do it if you want. So, here you go. Here's the contest winner. Deadpool mentions that, you know, he talks about, like, oh, look, haha, there they are. There's the Shia LaBeouf looking ass dude showing up again. I don't know about you guys, but he looks like Shia LaBeouf to me. That's what I see at the very least. Also, for this part, just put whatever. I don't think it really matters. I just clicked on banana. I don't think it really matters, because I don't think Deadpool's brain could even read itself, to be frank. But yeah, basically, he's just an elementalist, but he's a bit more tanky than that. Or at least a little bit more annoying than that, mainly because of the way that this level is laid out. But all you gotta do is just do the same thing you do to them all the time, and if he happens to shock you too much and you're about to die, just try your best to find cover. I don't really have any super great advice outside of just the usual norm. He's just a shitty throw-in elementalist with no cover at all anywhere. So it makes it a lot more annoying to have to deal with it. And that's kind of the aspect of it that I hate. Also, I took a little too long trying to figure out where the hell that last path was. This was just me being dumb. I kind of just volleyed a little bit and didn't understand what I was doing. But this next room's kind of fun. This is actually a pretty cool puzzle. I like this one. Basically, you just have to be a certain size to open the chest, and you got to be a certain size to open the specific doors and what have you. So it's nothing too outrageously crazy to figure out, but it is a nice change of pace for once, I guess. And that's where this chapter kind of falls into, is just like, it's pretty okay for what it's worth, you know. It has some decent ideas. It's just when you're like when you're me and you're trying to watch it over again, you know, it kind of becomes a pain in the ass. Basically, just turn small, grab the small chest. Turn big, grab the big chest, and hit the lever. Technically, if you want to go through this faster, go big first, get the chest, then hit the lever, then go small, get the chest, and then go through the door. That's if you wanted to do that in a potentially proper order, I guess, without having any... I'm trying to think of the word. Without having any sort of setbacks between it, I guess. Any changes too much. After that, there you go. Puzzle room done. Easy. Like, stupid easy puzzle, but just kind of a cute, fun little puzzle, in my opinion. Nothing too hard, but I like doing it. It's neat. I wish there was more stuff like that in this game. I kind of wish this game was sometimes a little bit longer than what it is. And I really wish that the final chapter wasn't just as shitty as it was, but, you know, that is what it is. Even though the final chapter may be shit, in my opinion, I still feel like this is probably a least favorite still. Mainly because design-wise, level-wise, and all that. There's some good stuff to it, but, like, the way it looks, you know, decrepit and ugly, just, I don't like that very much. Not a fan. I'm not a fan of that style, even though I like Donkey Kong Country and I like minecart sections, but something about this one, I don't know, it's off-putting. It's off-putting. Whatever the case, it don't matter. So, once again, typical horde mode. You know the drill. Don't shoot Cable. Not like you could anyway. You got explodey guys that show up every once in a while. You got magic dudes that show up. It's just the same thing as it was before. Shoot them a bunch of times, and what have you, and they'll eventually die. Let Cable handle whatever, and there you go. So yeah, that's it. So take care, everybody.